Okay, everyone, good afternoon and welcome to the FX Daily Roundup. Apologies for the delay. We were in a staff meeting, so I apologize. Usually I'll just leave the staff meeting a little bit early. Hang on, looks like I don't have the... I leave the staff meeting a little bit early so I can do the FX Daily Roundup at 12:30 Eastern. Completely forgot until I saw a couple of guys, the meeting ended, and I saw a couple of guys mention about the the webinar. So sorry about that. Apologies. We'll go and spend a little bit of extra time then. It is relatively quiet. We're going to do kind of like a recap of things. We're actually right now at our bias chart support here on the dollar CAD. Had some people asking about the dollar CAD. Let's go in and pull that over. We'll just do a recap of everything. And we'll just spend a little bit of extra time to make up for the delayed start. So bear with me. So here's the our bias chart. Now we construct this on our European crossover webinar, which is available for the members with ForexAnalytix, and it's at 4 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. And then if you're not available at that time, obviously a lot of people who trade in the U.S. session would not be available or may not be available. But we do have our European traders. We have quite a few traders in the chat room, and part of ForexAnalytix do trade in the European session. So if you're not available at that time when we do present it live, Stelios makes it available generally about an hour and a half before the New York session kicks off. And it's also with the recorded link. So if you're not available right at that time either, you could watch it a little bit later. Hang on one moment. Okay, but anyway, so we construct the bias chart. It lays out basically the scalp levels for the days trading through the next 24 hours. Now, we have quite a few traders in the room that some do scalp, but generally even those that don't scalp or only just short-term trade or hold for a few days, use the bias chart to kind of incorporate with their own levels. So today's bias chart, some people are asking, on the dollar CAD, have that as 30.90. You can see we're right there right now. We're going to take a look at it on a daily basis. And obviously we saw this thing really turn around and break this last week as it was having, remember we kept talking about this, the difficulty that it had with trying to get beyond this 33.36. And it was actually 2 Thursdays ago when I said, you know what, gun to head, you can just go in and get short this thing and just put a stop above 33.36 on a daily close. And actually, at that time, I don't remember what the report was, but after that, it never looked back, and we just went, because we saw that dramatic turnaround. It looked like the market was going to break. Then we saw this dramatic turnaround, and we could never get past 33.36 on a closing basis. So things have turned around. We've broken lower. The dollar's weakened, and so we're in the analysis going in that we did over the weekend. It says the dollar CAD closed the week on pace for a date with 31 even. Confluencing with trendline support, the market is expected to probe support at the demand level of 30.43. Resistance is 31.80. Well, here's the 30.43. Eventually, I think we may get down there, but we do have some trendline support here. I always put my trend lines through the bodies, but our bias chart support, you can see that coming in right here at 30.90. We're right there. So some people were asking about it. And it's potentially we can see a bounce, from this area. Let's go on and move into the cable because obviously that was a big concern over the weekend. One moment. And you can see here, we're right up against that pivot. That pivot, I almost forgot about it because we've spent so much of the time down here in the low 20s, but I always keep these things in place. So that pivot, you can see the importance of this pivot. And the reason by pivot is once you break below it, you start heading down that way. If you're able to break above it, you can see we got above it, but it couldn't sustain it. We slip back. Once we get back above it, the market takes off, in the direction the opposite way. So we're right here at that pivot, and we haven't closed above it. We certainly challenged it, on Friday, and here we are on the weekend, and now we are on Monday. Obviously, I'm not going to go into all the politics with the whole Brexit thing, but I'm just going with the straight up technicals. So resistance for today, we look on the bias chart, we've got it here at 30.50/30.78. And the 30.50 is this level coming across. You can see that. confluencing with 3078, which is a 78% of this entire move from 1959 to 3383. Okay. If y'all know, is you're familiar with cable and really all the sterling pairs, is it loves to trade against the 78% and reverse back, whether it's, or at least, pause, whether it's cable or let's say the guppy or sterling versus the odd or other pairs, sterling versus the Kiwi. They just generally, the markets respond very well with the sterling pairs to the 78%, especially the cable. So we're looking for this as far as resistance. So there we stand right there as far as resistance. Support is somewhat lower. We have our support coming in at 28.40. So we're looking, obviously there was a potential for us to slide back. We didn't. We kind of reasserted ourselves. So 28.40 seems like a long ways off, but look how far we've rallied. So we can quickly be there if we get some negative news. Let's take a look at the euro dollar. Well, we did close above, and the key thing was we closed above 1150 area right here. Put on here, euro settled the week above 1150, allowing for a challenge to 1213 with immediate resistance of 1180. We actually ran out of gas right there at 1180. Actually, I think the high was 1180. Although our bias chart support coming in this morning, bias chart resistance was 1192. But once again, if you're with ForexAnalytix, I do the Asian analysis, throughout the week. And of course, over the weekend as we come into the new week. So this is available for you. It's done early Sunday morning. And then I'll do the Asian analysis every night throughout the week through Thursday. Obviously, I could do it on Friday. Market's already closed. But yeah, we're looking for immediate resistance at 1180. Support, we're looking here on the bias chart at 1121. One of the key things that we focused on before last week, or actually from the week before, was the significance of the bunds, and we'll get to that. Bear with me. And we talked about potentially the euro going higher because of what we saw in the bunds. And you remember back then we were right here. And boy, we thought we could really come off. And if we did come off, it would send the euro higher. And eventually it did send the euro higher. And I'm no fan of the euro, but I mean, it was all about the bunds. The bunds have sent this euro lower. But we are into a key area of that, what I call a value zone. That's why in this green. We actually made new lows for the day, for the move. And then we've kind of quieted down, no follow through. But there was a report here from the Bundesbank that was looking for the potentially for Germany to have another weak quarter. The third quarter potentially being very, very weak. So that's keeping the bunds from rallying. Obviously, you can see here. Look at the 10-year yields, 180. So that might be dragging a little bit on the euro because obviously 10-year yields stronger. Dollar supportive, but with these bunds lower here, there's still a chance for the euro to eventually make one more move higher. But keep your eyes on these bunds. You really want to keep your eyes because we've really fallen off a cliff on these bunds, and we are into a good little value area right in here. Doesn't mean we can't push a little bit lower, but decent little value area here. So I would be careful. I think on the next up move in the euro, I think then we could go in and take a pause at that point. We did go in and see gold. I didn't get a chance to take advantage of this move. I was focusing on crude oil. Could have kicked myself. I actually posted a chart this morning here in the chat room. I haven't mentioned here. Now this is on the XAU, so I mean it's a gold spot, but you can see here, I pointed out here this, I mentioned about this 1495 here. I think I said something about the market being relatively quiet. And we did want to push up, and look, we run out of gas right at 1495 in the spot. And look, we've already come off, more than $10. Really missed an opportunity to go in and take advantage of that, and could have kicked myself. I spent a lot of time with the crude oil market. I think the crude oil market's in a little bit of trouble in here. We had some very, very good volume when we went to the lows on Friday. Good upside volume as we turned around. And now here we are. We slid back down early in European session on pretty good volume. And then I picked it up on the scalp, and we ran it up a little bit, but we ran out of gas. And we took another dip, and that sent us to lows again. And we're going to take a look at that quickly. You can see here, and I'm looking here on the 30-minute. We did come down here to this 78%. I actually picked it up. Same thing, I didn't hang on for too long. My concern was, if you look on here, we had seen a pretty good volume on Friday when we came rally back up. And then we turn around and we just turn around and fall on our face, and we had some decent volume on the way back down. Now we came into an area, and I posted in the chat room. I said, hey, the potentially moved to 52.82 with, and I think I even mentioned this risk level, which is 52.62. But if you look at this market doesn't look good at all. I mean, we've been trying to hold, and you can see here we had a medium-legged doji here on the 30-minute, which generally means is what's the general direction. So you usually give a little bit of a give back. We're trying to work a little bit higher. I would look around this, potentially move to this 25-ish. You can see here on the 5-minute chart. But the thing is, and you'll see it here, you see how we had this run up early, and then we turn around and come apart, okay? Well, this second size area saw some pretty good doggone volume, also actually from here too. So really any moves up in here, I think if you look on here, it's been on pretty light volume. We might get up to around 25-ish, 27 maybe. We're looking on the 5-minute chart, but this was a good area here. This was actually 50% back, so it gave them an opportunity to get short again, considering the overall bigger move, and we pushed lower. We did go sub 53. Now we're just come back on very light volume, but be very careful here. Like I said, I think this market can't find a what I call a sustainable bounce to save its life. I think we may be going lower over the next few sessions. Obviously, you can see here the move in gold, and look at this, man. I could just kick myself. I just wasn't, I was trying to figure out what the heck is going on with crude, and I just really lost focus. I didn't pay much attention with gold. I started moving higher. But look at this on the 5-minute chart. We actually rallied up on here, came to that 14.95. Then you have this medium-legged doji. Then you have a gravestone doji. And boy, we saw a nice move. Now on the breakback, look where it falls apart at again. And I didn't even catch any of this stuff here. I was just trying to figure out, kind of get a good hold on what crude oil is trying to go and do. I think we're going to go and eventually turn around and weaken again. Moving on, we'll go back into the cross rates. You can see here with the guppy, man, we have really made a pretty good run. Let's go to the daily. That'll give us a better take on this. If you're looking at short crude, I think it's probably a decent amount around there, 53.27. But the only thing is we're getting pretty quiet, so just be aware of that. But if you're playing for the long side, I think anywhere 53.25, which is where it is right now, is probably a good area to lay off some longs if you played it that way. Let's go into the guppy, though. We have a resistance here at 41.82. That's our bias chart resistance. That and the support is 39.95. We may make one more little jab up in here, but 41.82 is pretty decent here. So if you've played this, probably if you haven't already taken a lot of it off, I would be consider taking more. It's up to you, but around this 41.82 definitely, or moves towards that. And then if we look into sterling odd, this is a huge level, this 90.58. I mean, it goes back, look at that, way back, since almost since Moses crossed the desert. Look at this, going all the way back here into 2015. That's a huge level, that 90.58. So the market paired back. I think any rallies back up in here, I'd be getting the heck out of Dodge. As the Aussies kind of strengthen a bit, we're a little bit weaker, but strengthen a bit. Also seeing the euro odd come back in here. We'll go back into the majors. And we'll finish up with the dollar index. This dollar index, man, it's falling and it can't get up. Here's that big 97.89 area here. And this is the area that we were looking for the market to get to. And then we thought we'd see a pretty nice bounce. And boy, we did not get a nice bounce. We got a bounce of, I think, what, maybe 20 pips or something, 20 ticks. But then we rolled past it and we're still lower. So really any moves from a technical standpoint, you know, 97.89 is huge. It's a weekly level. Any moves back to that, you just want to go on and sell this thing here. So that's where we stand here. Keep an eye with the euro. I mentioned in the chat room we had some support at 11.39, and looks like the low was it was 11.39. I haven't done anything with the euro, but on any rallies back, keep an eye with this bun. But that's all we have for today. But thanks for joining us here. Apologies for the late start, and we'll see you tomorrow. And like I said, you may want to consider taking a 10-day trial with ForexAnalytix, get the opportunity to be in the chat room and also be able to get go live with the webinars that we do have. Once again, good luck trading with the rest of the day.